In the early hours of May the 7th, 2011, the serene town of Bournemouth, nestled on England's southern coast, was shrouded in an unsettling silence. Within the confines of a seemingly ordinary bungalow, the course of young lives was irreversibly altered. Emily Longley, a vibrant 17-year-old aspiring model, was discovered lifeless in the bed of Elliot Turner, her boyfriend, who was ensnared in the throes of jealousy and volatile emotions. Emily's life had been filled with promise, a future brimming with possibilities. Born on February 22, 1994, in the picturesque town of Longley, she was the cherished daughter of Mark and Caroline Longley. Her early years were marked by an abundance of love, her laughter echoing through the halls of her family home. With her striking blonde hair and captivating blue eyes, Emily was the embodiment of her parents' dreams, a testament to their hopes for a bright future. As she grew, Emily's infectious energy and zest for life became her hallmark. She was known for her radiant smile and boundless curiosity, traits that endeared her to those around her and made her a beacon of joy in her family's life. Her days were filled with the simple pleasures of childhood, bedtime stories, family excursions, and the comforting rhythm of daily life. Yet, beneath the surface of her seemingly idyllic existence, dark clouds were gathering. Her relationship with Elliot Turner, once painted as a portrait of young love, was unraveling into a tapestry fraught with tension and discord. Friends and onlookers, captivated by their outward displays of affection, were unaware of the tempest brewing behind closed doors. On that fateful night, an argument erupted, shattering the veneer of their romance and revealing the sinister undercurrents of anger and control. As the confrontation escalated, the fragile threads of Emily's future were severed in a moment of unimaginable violence. Her untimely death sent ripples of shock and grief through her family and community, igniting a fervent quest for justice. The investigation that ensued unearthed a harrowing narrative of manipulation and betrayal, laying bare the complexities of a relationship gone tragically awry. In the end, Emily's story became a stark reminder of the fragile line between love and obsession, a cautionary tale that underscored the importance of recognizing the signs of toxic relationships. In the wake of this tragedy, Emily Longley's legacy endures as a poignant symbol of innocence lost and the enduring search for truth and justice in the face of unspeakable loss. Her life, though brief, remains a testament to the profound impact one soul can have on the world, a beacon of light that continues to shine even in the darkest of times. Yet, even amidst the joyful echoes of Emily's early childhood, a shadow loomed in the form of persistent health concerns. Her delicate lungs, troubled by recurrent breathing issues, became a source of anxiety for her parents. Medical professionals raised alarms about London's notorious air quality, cautioning that the city's pollution could exacerbate her condition. It was a pivotal moment for Mark and Caroline, caught in the throes of a heart-wrenching dilemma. To remain in London was to cling to the comforting embrace of familial bonds, the familiarity of well-trodden paths, and the stability of a known life. But this choice came with a perilous gamble. Emily's health, fragile as it was, might be compromised. The alternative, though fraught with uncertainty, beckoned with the promise of a healthier environment. It meant uprooting their lives, leaving behind the tapestry of memories woven into the streets of London, and venturing to the distant shores of New Zealand in search of cleaner air and expansive horizons. Emily's parents, driven by an unwavering commitment to her well-being, made the courageous decision to embark on this daunting journey. With their hearts weighted by farewells to grandparents, friends, and the bustling cityscape, they set forth across continents. This odyssey was not just a geographical voyage, but a testament to their resolve to secure a future where Emily could thrive. New Zealand unfurled before them as a land of boundless vistas and a gentler rhythm of life. The transition, though intimidating, revealed Emily's remarkable resilience, a trait that would become her hallmark. She embraced her new surroundings with the eagerness of youth, forming friendships, excelling academically, and blossoming into a self-assured young woman. Her teachers lauded her as both intelligent and inquisitive, a student whose quest for knowledge was insatiable. As Emily flourished intellectually, another facet of her identity began to emerge. Her beauty and innate grace captured attention first within her community and gradually beyond. What commenced as a few modest modeling ventures soon burgeoned into a burgeoning career, with Emily gracing magazine covers and striding confidently down runways. Her vibrant energy and unpretentious allure captivated Cam. By her late teens, Emily deftly balanced her academic pursuits with the burgeoning demands of a promising modeling career. In 2009, she returned to England, seeking to complete her education. Residing with her grandparents in the coastal town of Bournemouth, she navigated a world both exhilarating and challenging. It was here, amidst the lively backdrop of seaside life, that she encountered Elliot Turner. Introduced through mutual acquaintances in the vibrant milieu of bars and clubs, Elliot stood out with a flair that was impossible to ignore. His self-assured demeanor and magnetic presence drew people in, and Emily found herself irresistibly attracted to his charisma. Elliot's promises of love, loyalty, and excitement captivated her, and she quickly fell under the spell of his intense charm. In this dance of emotions and aspirations, Emily's journey continued to unfold, a narrative of courage and transformation, of choices made in the pursuit of a life unburdened by the constraints of her past. In the quietude of reflection, one might ponder the profound intersections of destiny and determination, where the paths we choose shape not only our present, but echo into the future, crafting the essence of who we become. From the outside, it appeared to be a typical whirlwind romance, passionate, exhilarating, and seemingly full of promise. Yet beneath Elliot's beguiling charm lay far more troubling traits, hidden in the shadows of his affections. What began as ardent love soon metamorphosed into simmering anger, a cauldron of emotions perpetually on the brink of boiling over. Elliot's world was a kaleidoscope of disarray. His focus wavered, his moods swung unpredictably, and an insatiable thirst for control consumed him. He meticulously monitored Emily's every move, growing suspicious of the people she encountered, reacting with unbridled anger whenever he sensed his grasp on her slipping away. Emily, once defined by her confidence, ambition, and independence, found her spirit slowly eroded by Elliot's behavior. Friends and family began to notice the subtle yet profound transformation. The vibrant young woman, once a beacon of vitality and promise, grew quieter, more withdrawn, a shadow of her former self. As Elliot's presence became increasingly overbearing, concern among those close to her mounted. The relationship, once a sanctuary of love, had devolved into a prison of fear and confinement. The grip Elliot held over Emily darkened with each passing day, a relentless tightening that left her gasping for autonomy. Despite her efforts to remain resilient, to cling to the remnants of her spirit, Elliot's controlling tendencies and violent outbursts continued to escalate, unchecked and unrelenting. By May of 2011, the situation reached a deadly climax. Their arguments, once sporadic, became frequent and explosive, fueled by Elliot's insidious jealousy, his corrosive suspicion, and his obsession with control. Family and friends had observed the ominous signs in Emily and Elliot's relationship, yet nothing could have prepared them for the horrific events that were poised to unfold. On the evening of May 7th, Emily made her way to Elliot's home in Bournemouth, unaware that this fateful visit would be her last. Tension, already a familiar presence, simmered beneath the surface, and as the evening unfolded, the atmosphere within the Turner household became a volatile brew of hostility and unease. What began as a verbal disagreement quickly spiraled into chaos. Harsh words morphed into shouting, accusations volleying back and forth as Elliot's fury spiraled beyond control. In a moment of terrifying violence, he wrapped his hands around Emily's neck, his rage manifesting in a blind, destructive force. Emily, a mere 17 years old, fought desperately for her life, her screams reverberating throughout the house. Yet despite her valiant struggle, her efforts were heartbreakingly in vain. Emily's throat, constricted by Elliot's grip, could no longer draw breath. Her voice, once full of life, was silenced, her young life tragically extinguished. By the time Elliot released his hold, the life had already fled from her body, leaving her lifeless in his bedroom. Yet the horror did not cease with Emily's death. Instead of seeking help or exhibiting even a flicker of remorse for the atrocity he had committed, Elliot's focus shifted to concealing the crime. Over the ensuing hours, he orchestrated a charade, sending messages and manipulating his environment to fabricate an illusion of normalcy, a desperate attempt to veil the darkness of his actions. In the quiet aftermath of his blind rage, the world outside carried on, oblivious to the tragedy that had unfolded. Yet within the confines of that fateful room, a stark reminder lingered, a testament to the fragile line between love and control and the destructive potential that lies within unchecked obsession. And so the story of Emily becomes a haunting reflection on the profound consequences of losing oneself in the shadows of another's darkness. In the quiet suburban enclave of Bournemouth, a tragedy unfolded that would send shockwaves through the community. Elliot Turner, a young man from an ostensibly ordinary family, found himself at the center of a harrowing event that would expose the lengths to which those closest to him would go to shield him from the harsh realities of justice. His parents, Lee and Anita Turner, became enmeshed in a desperate and ultimately futile attempt to protect their son from the legal consequences of his actions. Nating evidence. Text messages were deleted, timelines were manipulated, and false narratives were woven in a bid to obscure the stark truth of what had transpired. Yet, amidst this web of deceit, it was Anita Turner who finally reached out to the authorities, a call that would set in motion a series of events leading to the grim unraveling of their carefully constructed facade. Anita's voice trembled as she spoke to the emergency dispatcher, her words a mixture of confusion and denial. "What is my son's friend saying to that this morning?" she asked, her voice tinged with desperation. "I tried to wake up the girl, but she didn't wake up. We tried to wake her up. I don't know what it is." The dispatcher, sensing the urgency, instructed her to check for signs of life. "I need you to put your face next to her mouth. Can you see her chest going up and down?" But the response was chillingly final. "No." By the time paramedics arrived, Emily Longley was unresponsive. All efforts to revive her were tragically in vain, and the scene that greeted the first responders raised immediate and serious questions. Emily's body bore marks that were unmistakably unnatural, prompting the authorities to swiftly initiate a thorough investigation. As detectives descended upon the Turner residence, they were initially swayed by the narrative presented by Elliot and his parents. The story they told painted Emily's death as sudden and unforeseen. Yet, as the investigation deepened, inconsistencies began to surface. The injuries on Emily's neck, the presence of petechiae in her eyes, and other physical indicators suggested a violent struggle had taken place, a struggle that belied the Turners' account of events. Elliot's version of the incident crumbled under scrutiny. His statements were riddled with contradictions and failed to align with the mounting forensic evidence. It became evident to investigators that Elliot was grappling with the truth, and his parents' involvement in attempting to conceal the facts only added to the complexity of the case. A pivotal breakthrough came through digital forensics. Despite the Turners' efforts to wipe clean any digital traces, forensic experts were able to recover deleted text messages that painted a damning picture the destruction of evidence and the fabrication of a narrative that might shield Elliot from accountability. For Mark and Caroline Longley, Emily's parents, the revelation was a devastating blow. Their daughter, who had returned to England to pursue her academic and modeling aspirations, had been murdered in a setting where she should have felt secure. The heinous nature of her death was compounded by the betrayal of another family's attempt to cover up the crime, searing their grief with an additional layer of anguish. The tragedy reverberated through the community of Bournemouth, shattering the tranquility of its suburban streets. In a place where safety and trust were assumed, the brutal silencing of a vibrant teenager by someone she knew and once trusted cast a long shadow. It was a chilling reminder of the hidden darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most seemingly idyllic lives. In the end, the case of Emily Longley serves as a stark cautionary tale about the perilous consequences of deception and the moral imperative of truth. It underscores the fragile veneer of civility that can be stripped away to reveal the raw, often unsettling realities that lie beneath. And it leaves us to ponder the lengths to which people will go to protect their own, even when faced with the harshest of truths. Emily's untimely death cast a stark light on the sinister shadows lurking within toxic relationships, compelling a community to reckon with the perilous escalation of unchecked control, jealousy, and obsession that can culminate in tragic violence. This was a tale not just of a lost life, but of the intricate web of deceit spun to obscure the truth. As the authorities meticulously pieced together the fragments of that fateful night, the involvement of Elliot Turner's parents, Anita and Lee Turner, unfolded with unsettling clarity. In a bid to shield their son from the consequences of his actions, they became complicit in a conspiracy to conceal the gravity of his crime. Court proceedings later exposed their attempts to erase damning evidence from Elliot's devices, their coaching of him on how to mislead investigators, and their fabrication of an exonerating narrative. These actions transcended mere parental protection, actively obstructing justice and delaying the revelation of truth. What should have been a direct route to accountability was marred by the Turners' interference, exacerbating the anguish of Emily's family and friends as they sought closure. The events of May 7, 2011 were shrouded in mystery from the outset. The initial explanation offered by Elliot and his parents was both vague and implausible, suggesting that Emily's death was sudden and unforeseen. However, the evidence painted a far more sinister picture. Bruising on her neck, trauma around her eyes, and additional injuries spoke of a violent confrontation, a narrative starkly at odds with the Turners' claims. Emily's death was not a tragic accident. It was a deliberate act of violence. As investigators secured the crime scene and meticulously gathered evidence, they began to unravel the truth. Witness testimonies, digital footprints, and Elliot's own erratic behavior in the aftermath of the incident revealed a harrowing history of control and manipulation. For months, Elliot had subjected Emily to a regime of surveillance and intimidation, his jealousy manifesting in threats and explosive outbursts whenever he felt his grip on her was loosening. As rather than exhibiting the grief or remorse expected of someone who had lost a loved one, his behavior was defensive, controlling, and at times defiantly unrepentant. Forensic analyses corroborated these suspicions, with the injuries on Emily's body unequivocally confirming a violent struggle. The evidence was irrefutable. She had been strangled in a moment of uncontrollable rage. By the summer of 2011, the wheels of justice began to turn. Elliot Turner was formally charged with murder, while his parents faced charges of obstructing justice. The case was set to unfold at Winchester Crown Court, capturing the attention of a nation. Emily, a vibrant and promising young woman whose life was brutally cut short, left a profound impact not only in the United Kingdom, but also in her homeland of New Zealand. Her tragic story resonated deeply, serving as a somber reminder of the lethal potential of unchecked emotional abuse. In the quiet aftermath of this grievous loss, the echoes of Emily's story lingered, urging communities to reflect on the silent, often invisible battles fought behind closed doors. It called for vigilance and empathy, a collective commitment to recognizing the signs of toxic relationships before they spiral into irreversible tragedy. Through the darkness, Emily's legacy endures as a beacon, illuminating the path to awareness and change. In the somber halls of justice, the trial for the murder of Emily Longley commenced in April 2012, casting a spotlight on the dark complexities of a life cut tragically short. The courtroom became a theater of truth, where each detail of Emily's existence, particularly her tumultuous final months, was laid bare for scrutiny. The prosecution meticulously unraveled the threads of a relationship marred by control and fury, painting a portrait of Elliot Turner as a man whose jealousy spiraled into a dangerous obsession. His rage flared with intensity whenever Emily interacted with other men, escalating to repeated threats of violence too. Witnesses stepped forward, bearing testament to the volatility that marked Emily and Elliot's relationship. Friends and confidants recounted Emily's growing fears, the whispers of danger that crept into her life, underscoring the peril she faced as Elliot's grip tightened. The narrative of their troubled dynamic was further illuminated by digital evidence, a silent witness to their unraveling. Text messages exchanged between the couple exposed the toxic undercurrents that defined their interactions, while deleted communications from Elliot's parents unveiled attempts to obscure the truth, a desperate bid to shield their son from the consequences of his actions. Prosecutors argued with resolute clarity that these deletions were not mere oversights, but calculated maneuvers to obstruct the pursuit of justice, concealing vital insights into Elliot's mindset. The defense, grappling for a foothold, suggested that Elliot's actions lacked murderous intent. However, the stark reality etched in medical and forensic evidence left scant room for ambiguity. Pathologists delivered unequivocal testimony, detailing injuries that spoke of strangulation, a narrative of violence that could not be dismissed. The prosecution's case was fortified by Elliot's history of threats and his unyielding refusal to relinquish control over Emily. This was no accidental tragedy. It was a deliberate act of brutality. The atmosphere in the courtroom was charged with emotion, a palpable current that coursed through the assembled crowd. Emily's family and friends, seated in the gallery, bore witness to the unfolding drama, their hearts heavy with grief as they listened to vivid accounts of Emily's life, her vibrant character, and the harrowing moments that led to her demise. Mark and Caroline Longley, Emily's parents, stood as pillars of resilience amidst their sorrow, their determination unwavering in the face of overwhelming loss. Their quest for justice carried them through weeks of intense testimony and exhaustive evidence review. Ultimately, the jury delivered a verdict that resonated with finality. In May 2012, Elliot Turner was adjudged guilty of Emily's murder, a conviction that condemned him to life imprisonment with a minimum of 16 years before the possibility of parole. The reverberations of the trial extended beyond Elliot. His parents, Anita and Lee Turner, faced their reckoning for their role in perverting the course of justice. Their attempts to delete incriminating texts and shield their son from culpability resulted in sentences that mirrored the gravity of their actions. As the verdict echoed through Winchester Crown Court, Emily's family confronted a bittersweet closure. The trial's conclusion marked the end of a legal battle, yet Emily's legacy persisted, transcending the confines of the courtroom. Her untimely death became a catalyst for broader societal reflection, igniting discourse on the insidious nature of abusive relationships and the catastrophic impact of jealousy and control. Her story resonated across borders, from the United Kingdom to New Zealand, sparking a movement that sought to illuminate the shadows of domestic abuse and inspire change in communities far and wide. In the aftermath of tragedy, Emily Longley's life became a poignant reminder of the fragile line between love and possession, a testament to the enduring struggle for justice and the transformative power of collective awareness. In a world where the shadows of controlling and obsessive relationships loom large, the story of Emily has become a beacon for advocacy groups aiming to illuminate the perils hidden within such dynamics. Her tragic tale underscores the insidious nature of domestic violence, where jealousy masquerades as affection, surveillance is cloaked in the guise of care, and the victim's autonomy is slowly eroded. Law enforcement and organizations dedicated to combating domestic violence have taken up Emily's narrative as a clarion call, urging society to recognize the early warning signs. These signs, often dismissed or misinterpreted, can herald a descent into a violence that, if unchecked, can culminate in tragedy. Emily's story is not an isolated incident, but rather a stark reminder of the potential for controlling behavior to escalate into lethal violence. In the aftermath of her death, New Zealand was enveloped in a pall of sorrow. The murder of a young woman abroad captured the nation's attention, prompting a profound examination of relationship abuse and the protective measures necessary to shield vulnerable individuals. Emily's story became a catalyst, a tool wielded to foster awareness among families, schools, and communities about the telltale signs of abuse. Central to this narrative is her father, Mark Longley, who, despite the depths of his grief, emerged as a pivotal figure in the fight against domestic violence. Through his tireless efforts in interviews, public forums, and awareness campaigns, he highlighted the critical need to break the silence surrounding domestic abuse. His resolve was firm. Emily's death must not be in vain. By sharing her story, he aimed to offer a lifeline to others, warning children, siblings, and friends to recognize and escape the clutches of similar horrors. Emily's case revealed a societal blind spot, where critical red flags in abusive relationships are often overlooked or dismissed. This oversight underscores an urgent need for vigilance and proactive intervention. Friends later confessed to sensing something amiss, yet they were paralyzed by uncertainty, unsure of how to act or intervene. Authorities acknowledge the challenges of proving psychological control before it morphs into physical violence, a task fraught with complexity and nuance. Galvanized efforts to support survivors, educate young people about the principles of healthy relationships, and ensure perpetrators are held accountable for not just physical violence, but also for threats and coercion. Emily's name, over time, transcended her own life, becoming a symbol of resilience and awareness. Her story has been woven into the fabric of educational curricula, shared in schools to enlighten students about the realities of abusive situations. Domestic violence campaigns have adopted her case as a cautionary tale, illustrating the peril of silence and inaction. For Emily's family, the void left by her absence is a poignant reminder of the daughter, sister, and young woman they will never embrace again. Yet, in the midst of their enduring pain, her legacy endures, a testament to the transformative power of awareness and the relentless pursuit of change. Her life, though tragically abbreviated, ignited a movement, fostering a deeper understanding of the complexities of domestic abuse and the imperative to protect those at risk. In this way, her story continues to echo, a clarion call for vigilance, empathy, and action in the face of adversity. Her father speaks with a heavy heart, each birthday and anniversary marked by the poignant absence of Emily. These occasions, once filled with joy, now serve as stark reminders of the milestones that will remain forever uncelebrated, the precious moments that will never come to pass. In the midst of profound sorrow, he has found a profound mission. Transforming his grief into a force for change, he ensures Emily's story reverberates far beyond the confines of the courtroom, beyond the boundaries of Bournemouth, and into the consciousness of a global audience. Today, Emily is remembered not merely as a victim of a heinous crime, but as a catalyst for crucial discourse that holds the potential to save lives. Her tragic end ignites an enduring dialogue about the insidious nature of abuse, be it emotional, mental, or physical, and the necessity of intervention before it spirals into tragedy. Though her laughter no longer graces her family's home, her spirit endures, carried forth by those who recount her story and uphold her memory. Emily's legacy is one that dares to break the silence, challenges indifference, and advocates for a world where love is never confused with possession. In this envisioned world, the tenets of safety, respect, and dignity are non-negotiable, forming the foundation of human interaction. Emily's narrative serves as a stark reminder that the gravest threats often wear familiar faces, and that truth frequently lurks in the shadows. Behind every headline lies a life, a family, and a narrative that demands justice. These stories, if forgotten, remain unresolved, but if shared and remembered, they hold the power to drive change. In remembering Emily, we honor her by striving for a future where every life is cherished and every story is heard.